Hello, welcome to Thor Talk, the show all about Marvel's resident god of thunder. On this episode of Thor Talk, we'll be looking at past MCU movies and analyzing the MCU formula to predict how the Captain Marvel movie will be. And of course, one of those past MCU movies we'll be looking at will be Thor, because this is Thor Talk.
I am Thor the Thunderer, son of Odin, prince of Asgard, and this world is under my protection.
So, the Captain Marvel movie will be released in March of 2019, which is quite a long ways away as of the time I'm making this video. We still know very little about the movie. However, we can predict how the movie will play out simply by looking at the Marvel formula that has been applied so far. You see, the Avengers in the comics and movies have three main members: Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, or the Big Three. These three heroes are integral to the Avengers, but Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and Robert Downey Jr. can't portray these characters forever. In fact, it seems like most of them, if not all of them, will be done after this next fourth Avengers movie. And while it has been confirmed that they will likely be recast eventually, it seems that Marvel is choosing to wait a little while so that the change in actors isn't so jarring. Instead, they made a new Big Three by using the same formula that they used for the original Big Three. Three new Marvel characters are actually stand-ins for familiar older Marvel characters. Now, that's not to say that these new characters bring nothing new to the table, or that they aren't their own character, but Marvel knows what works, and they are ensuring that they can replicate that in some way. The first comparison is the most obvious one. Iron Man's stand-in is Doctor Strange. Both are intelligent, hard-working, sarcastic, and wisecracking men with impressive goatees. They were rich and successful before an accident related to their work horribly damages them. Stark is blown up by one of his own weapons, and Strange crashes his car while he is distracted by a possible case to work on. They find themselves exiled in a faraway land, where a wise old mentor helps them obtain new abilities, which they originally plan on using for personal gain, escaping for Stark and fixing his hands for Strange, but in the end they use them to become a hero. While the mentor does assist the hero truly earns those abilities himself. Stark primarily makes and designs the suit, and Strange learns most of the spells on his own without the aid of the Ancient One. The mentor is killed by a radical, who is merely a pawn of the main villain. The heroes come home to a red-haired love interest who formerly worked for them. In the end, both go from jerk to selfless hero. Thor's counterpart is T'Challa, the Black Panther. Both are originally serious characters who are both stoic and regal. This makes sense, as both are also princes of an advanced civilization hidden from the people of Earth, and both eventually become kings of that civilization. Both have strong relationships with their families. Thor is very close with his father, mother, and brother, and T'Challa is very close with his father, mother, and sister. The movies of both characters often have much to do with the relationships of their families, whether it's the sins of the father or the rivalry with the sibling. Both go out on a quest with their close friends to seek out a foreign enemy. Thor pursues Laufey after the Frost Giants tried to retake the Casket of Ancient Winters, and T'Challa went after Claw in retaliation for stealing vibranium. Both seem quite successful in their pursuit of this foreign enemy, but come home empty-handed after some interference from the main villain. Loki made sure Odin found out about their trip for Jotunheim, and Killmonger broke Claw out of holding. Later, the main villain kills that foreign enemy in order to gain approval from the civilization's rulers. The main villain is a member of the hero's family, who is somewhat of an outcast because of morally questionable actions from the hero's father. The main villain takes control of the throne and uses that power to overthrow a civilization that he believes to be evil, despite the fact that he is practically a part of it. Both heroes were cast out by the current king and stripped of their powers. Thor was banished by Odin, and T'Challa was cast out by Killmonger. The hero regains his power and uses it to dispatch the forces sent by the main villain. He then directly confronts the main villain and defeats him in combat. Despite the hero's desire to help the villain, the main villain chooses death over facing the consequences for their actions. In the end, the hero learns more about the importance and difficulties of ruling, growing into a wiser king. So, by process of elimination, Captain America's counterpart will be Captain Mar-Vell, and I think this will fit well with what little we know about the movie. I think that both will begin the movie as a selfless hero already, not needing to grow into a better person. But they will be unable to participate in a large-scale war because they are too weak. The war for Captain America being World War II, and the war for Captain Mar-Vell being the Kree-Skrull War. Both will get their powers that will allow them to participate in the war and become a symbol for their respective sides. Both will have a love interest that is already participating in the war and is very capable. For Steve Rogers, it's Peggy Carter, and for Carol Danvers, it's Mar-Vell. Both movies will take place in the past. For Captain America, it's the 40s, and for Captain Mar-Vell, it's the 90s. And both heroes will return to the present in an Avengers movie, where they must deal with the strange new world. In the end, both heroes will not change. They will remain selfless and perfect symbols. What will change is the world around them, and how they deal with it. So, that's my prediction. Basically, if you want to know what happens in Captain Mar-Vell, watch Captain America: The First Avenger. Also, I did not have enough time to list all the similarities between the heroes, so be sure to put some of them down in the comments below. Well, that's all for this episode of Thor Talk. If you want to keep up with Thor Talk and all Thor-related news, follow Thor Talk on Instagram @Thor Talk. You can also keep up with and support Thor Talk by simply subscribing. Once again, I'd like to formally state that all art and videos owned by its respected companies, and I own none of it. With that said, see you next time on Thor Talk, where...
You'll be holding breathless wonder.